Right, so yesterday I made a video talking about the whole exit Alberta and or Saskatchewan and why I think that they should leave Canada. I mean, assuming things don't change, which I don't think they will anytime soon. Today I wanted to make a video clarifying something that why there's such alienation and polarization between Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the rest of Canada. I mean, basically Eastern Canada, and that I think it's something that people they can't really fathom why one part of Canada would want to alienate another and, want things to be so polarized, and that they think, again, they have this idea that that we're told all the time that, oh, we may disagree on politics, but we all want what's best for Canada. And then I think that's complete BS. I don't think that there could be a more ignorant or stupid statement than one could make, and it's for the simple reason that people want what's best for themselves. That the idea that we all want what's best for Canada. Well, what about the massive amount of people that want what's best for them isn't what's best for Canada? In that, I mean, you basically look at the overwhelming majority of immigrants that are coming in are either, they're not working at all, or they're working, super low wage jobs to where they're still net negatives on society. Well, what's best for them is to keep a big welfare state, is to keep free healthcare for everyone, even if you're not a citizen, which is something that goes on in Canada. You don't need to be a citizen to get the free healthcare. If you're a refugee, you even get free dental and stuff like that even a lot of Canadians don't even get. So this idea that, everyone wants what's best for Canada, well, it's not true. People on both sides want what's best for them, and they want what's best for their family, and they want what's best for people that are like them. And that's why the left wants mass immigration, is because immigrants from the third world vote left, and that's why people on the right, and the people on the right that don't want it, that don't have their heads on straight, the reason why the people on the right that have their heads on straight don't want immigration, it's not because they're racist, it's because they vote for policies that go against their own self-interest. It's not racist, it's not any ist or phobia or whatever, buzzword that people come up with. It's just people want what's best for themselves and their families and people like them. And if you want to, I mean, going back full circle, if you want to exploit anyone or any group of people, you need to denigrate them, and you need to take advantage of them. You need to beat them down, but you can't do it too much, which is why, a good example of this would be that slave owners, I mean, specifically slave owners in the U.S., even though it's, I mean, not really the first thing you think of when you think of slavery shouldn't be slavery in the U.S., but just to make a point, slave owners, they obviously exploited, and they were exploiting the slaves a lot, right? They weren't paying them, or they were paying them actually very little. It's not that they weren't paying them, but they needed to exploit them and denigrate them, but they couldn't do it too much. They couldn't beat them half to death every day, or not feed them or anything like that, but they had to keep them they had to take advantage of them as much as they possibly could without alienating them to the point to where the slaves would say, F this, I don't care if I die trying to get out of here, I'm going to do it. And that's what Eastern Canada is doing with Western Canada, is that they're exploiting Alberta and Saskatchewan mainly, obviously, to the point to where it really frustrates us, but not enough people are like, F this, I don't care if if leaving the rest of Canada completely blows up in our face, I want to give it a shot anyway. So that's basically what they're doing, and that's the best way to sum it up, is that, like I said, they're taking advantage of us just up to the point to where not quite enough people want to say, F this, let's leave. We don't care what happens, we got to do it anyway because we have no other choice. Basically, that's the best way to sum it up. And I have this CBC article pulled up, and then, I mean, obviously CBC is, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, which you've got to be living under a rock to not know, but they're very, very biased to the left. I mean, they're literally suing conservative campaigners for using their content when Liberal and NDP and Greens. I assume everyone does it, but the Liberal and the NDPs were doing the exact same thing, and they're not being sued. So that's just the first of literally thousands of examples of the CBC being biased to the lefts. But I don't want to get into it. But they have this title: "Wexiters are the new pawns for Canadian conservative leaders," and I don't understand. And again, this is like I said, the denigration, the dehumanization that they need to do is that they can't come up with a good argument. Again, that's the favorite thing of the left is that name calling. That's all they really have to them, because their arguments, they don't hold up in fact at all. They contradict themselves all the time. They're just flat out wrong usually. But so they can't just come up with a good argument, and that experts, actual experts that have an unbiased view on things, don't think that it would work out. If they actually, wanted to do some real journalism, that's what they would do, but they don't. So, I would completely ignore the CBC. Most people watching this video probably are already doing that, but basically, to sum it up, the reason why like I said in the last video too, is that Eastern Canada, they're hooked on, getting something for nothing. And when you get hooked on that kind of stuff, you'll do anything, and I mean literally anything. And I know this is probably hard for a lot of people to understand, but they will do literally anything to keep the flow of free goods coming, and that means saying whatever they need to say to keep it going, which is why you have Justin Trudeau trying to cozy up to Western Canada a little bit. It's not going to work. Anyone who takes Justin Trudeau at his word, now is crazy in my mind, but like I said, they're gonna say whatever they gotta say to calm the situation down. And what I would say is that you can't back down now. Is that if you don't support a Western, at least a referendum on the fact, doesn't mean you have to completely support it, but if you're from Alberta or Saskatchewan and you're not in favor of this kind of stuff, I don't have words for you. How bad does it have to get before you support something like this? So that's basically all I want to talk about today. So if you like the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.